Welcome to Conversations with the Candidates, a series with the candidates running in the 2025 election for North Adams City Council. The series is hosted by IBerkshires.com and Northern Berkshire Community Television. And I'm Tammy Daniels, I'm the editor of IBerkshires.com, and I'll be the moderator for these sessions. In the studio with me are incumbent Peter Breen and candidates Aprilynn Carsno and Virginia Riehl. Welcome.
Thank you, Tammy. Yeah.
I'd like to give you each a little time to introduce yourselves to the audience. And why don't we start with Peter on the end?
Thank you for having this session. Hi, my name is Pete Breen. I grew up in the West End of North Adams 72 years ago. And what I did was I went off to college in Vermont for 4 years, came back, and I worked in the business in the factories in the area here for about 20 years. And I saw them close one by one. And I realized I had to go back to school to start a second career. And so full-time at the age of 38, I went and received 3 degrees. I got a computer science degree and advanced degrees in computer science. I taught computer science and was a network administrator for 20 years. Then after retiring after 42 years of a career, my wife and I, Mary Ellen, we decided we're going to stay in our hometown. And at 62, I started to volunteer in the city of North Adams to see what I could do to make it better. The first job I had was I joined the board of the Hoosick River Revival, and we've been working on getting it fixed. And so far, so good. We wrote a feasibility study proposal. It was accepted, and they're right in the middle of it now. If it comes to fruition, it'll be 7 years of construction work and about $220 million worth of infrastructure. So I'm very proud of that. The other thing is I'm on the McCann School Board, and as you know, last year we wrote a grant for $3.1 million and got a new program, the HVAC system, and we anticipate 18 students a year graduating from there with a starting salary, because we're doing the certifications. They're going to be making about $62,000 a year. So it brings me to the city council. The city council job, I want to bring jobs. We desperately need jobs. Our population has been dropping for the last 40 years. And we need good paying jobs. We need to make our schools more robust. And the other thing is, to live here, we've got to lower the taxes. I'm on a fixed income, and I'm paying $500 a month for real estate. That's a lot of money when you're paying $6,000 a year. We have a $53 million budget, and this is a town of 12,000. So we've got to look at being more efficient in spending our money where we need it the most.
All right, thank you. Ms. Carsno.
Hi. What would you like to know?
I would like to, I think you've run for office before, so you're
Yes.
used to this.
Yes.
So talk for a minute or two about who you are and why you're running and what you hope to do.
Okay, thank you. I'm Aprilynn Carsno. My parents actually met in Adams, and my parents had a house on Florida Mountain, and my dad's job was transferred when my mom was 9 months pregnant with me. So I was born in Attleboro on the other side of Boston. When my dad relocated back to North Adams, I followed. And I've been here since September 6th of '97. I've raised my children here and now my grandchildren. I have 6 children and 12 grandchildren. I have done quite a few different things in my life. I was a CNA for over 25 years. I took care of the elderly, disabled. I have children that are disabled. I currently work at Aubuchon's in Williamstown. Love it, great people. And I ran for mayor, as you know, twice before. Didn't work out the way I wanted to, so I want to move North Adams forward. Property taxes are too high. We need low-income housing. We need affordable housing. Our elderly, they need to feel safe within the high-rise. Our infrastructure is awful. Our schools, they're building unnecessary schools. If they had a, plan where they put money aside to maintain the schools, we wouldn't be having the issues that we're having. I pay $250 a month just for property taxes, and my street is nothing but potholes. The fire hydrants is still, they're everywhere, bagged. It's ridiculous. What are we paying for? So I decided to run for city council because enough is enough. If I can't get in with mayor, at least let me get in for city council, try to make change, because we need change. North Adams needs to move forward. We need to fix things. We need to lower the property tax, fix the budget, and cut the unnecessary spending.
And Ms. Riehl?
Okay. I'm Virginia Riehl, and I moved to North Adams to follow my family, my daughter, her husband, and my 2 grandchildren. So I say I was the caboose. I said, wherever you're moving, I'm moving, and it turned out to be North Adams. And when I came here, I felt that it was really important, if I was going to be in this community, to make a commitment to the community and to find ways that I could use my expertise and experience to help the community that I lived in. And so I walked around and I asked bartenders and waitstaff and people on the street and people on the bus what was the most important issue in the community, and everybody said housing. And I said, oh no, because all my work has been in healthcare. So I set about working to learn about housing. And some of you, I'm sure, have seen me at city council meetings talking about housing, or at various events where we've done housing. We've started the North Adams Community Housing Organization. We followed everything that's going on at the state level with their funding. We worked on the ADU legislation, and we recently brought forward with Andrew Fitch, the Affordable Housing Trust legislation. So I think we're making some progress, but not as much as we need and not as fast as we need. I also started attending city council meetings, and I have attended most of the city council meetings for 4 years. So I say I've gone to city council boot camp. And I went through 2 budget cycles of all the finance committee meetings and sat through those so that I could understand the budget. So I feel I can come to the council very well grounded in understanding how they operate, how the budget is done. And then finally, I just recently joined the planning board, and that has been another great experience to understand the development in the city and the activities that go on around that.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm going to pick up on housing and taxes. Seem to be like the main areas that everybody has agreed that taxes are too high, property taxes too high, not enough affordable housing. So as a city councilor, because you are going to be one of 9 people, and your abilities to create change like you want are sort of limited in this type of environment and the type of government we have in North Adams. What do you see as strong elements that you could put forward as a city councilor to move the city forward, as you said, in providing more housing? And if there's more housing, taxes come down, right? There's usually a little bit of that. So how do you see that working? I'm going to let Aprilynn go first on that one.
Well, it's one of those things that everything seems to work together, okay? You bring more jobs to the area, so now you have more income. People, they need a place to live. We need to create more housing. We need affordable housing. I was just told that the high-rise is infested with cockroaches and bed bugs. Are you serious? It's ridiculous. Nothing's being done within the city for the citizens. And the unnecessary spending is part of that budget.
So what do you see as unnecessary spending?
Unnecessary spending?
Yeah.
Okay, downtown, the flowers. They pay over $7,000 a year when the high school has, all the flowers and everything.
The nursery.
The nursery, yes.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why we're paying for something that we used to get for free.
Okay.
It makes no sense. If we cut the unnecessary spending, we could lower the property taxes and make it more affordable for people. People are getting, there's more jobs, okay, that like for the fire department, the police department, public safety is very important, but she's given raises where the budget, we can't afford that. You know, I understand people need raises, but this ain't the time for it. You know, so it's hard. It's like there's so many different things that need to be addressed, but they all clash.
Yeah, they're all.
You know, it's just difficult.
And Virginia, you said you sat through all the finance committee meetings, and yes, you have, because I've been there with you. So, from your understanding of the budget, what do you think? Where is there unnecessary spending? Are there places to cut to lower taxes?
So I'm sure you could look at any budget in any jurisdiction and find things that could be cut. I think, having sat through all those hearings and the detailed review that's done, I think that there's not vast amounts of money there. You're not going to say, we have millions of dollars that we can pour into fixing the roads that we could take out of our budget.
No, that comes in with the grants, though.
Right, I agree with that. But I think sometimes when people talk about this, you know, they think, well, if we just cut something else in the city budget, you know, and then the difficult question is exactly what do we want to cut and how much money would we realize? I think grants are definitely important. My other viewpoint, which I think, Aprilynn, you also alluded to, is that the economic development engine needs to start running here. And we need to be focused much more clearly on driving economic development to the maximum extent that we can. Yep. I think that sometimes we just wait for some developer to come to us, and then we don't always get what we want or need. And I think there needs, I 2 years ago put a petition together for our two community planners, one for economic development and one for housing. We got one new planner in the budget this year. I'm not sure we have one on economic development. We may need to spend some money to get the right level of expertise into the city to attract the economic development that we need and to make that happen. I think we also need to look at other jurisdictions that have had successful economic development, and what developers did they work with, and would those developers understand North Adams and the community and the needs of this community, and come equipped to actually produce housing, businesses that are a match for the needs of North Adams. And I think right now we don't have enough focus on that, which I think unless we grow the economic base, we will be very hard pressed to solve our overtaxation.
But look what's going on at the airport, okay? They owe rent to the city. Fitch said, we're gonna forgive all that money you owe and we're gonna lower your rent. No. Kick them out. Bring them to court for what they owe. It ain't hard. Rent it to somebody who actually will pay. I can't tell my mortgage company, oh, I can't make a payment, you know, for what, a year or whatever, and not lose my house. You need to pay. And you shouldn't have your rent lowered, because if you can't afford it at this much, what makes you think I'm gonna believe that you can afford it at a little bit lower? How lower are they gonna lower it? It's ridiculous, you know? So Fitch failed on that, okay? You don't say, okay, well, forgive thousands of dollars when the city's in debt. That just makes no sense to me. What about the citizens of North Adams? We're paying ours, they need to pay theirs. So.
All right. Peter, you're the one talking about jobs too, and he's also liaison to the airport commission, so I don't know if you want to jump in on that one.
The biggest thing that I see for the city of North Adams is its best opportunity is to have a city council that can work together. When you have a group of people, very talented people, working on common goals and working in the same direction and focusing, and we'll talk about jobs. At retirement, I spend a lot of time reading. I spend a lot of time all over the state looking at different situations. And a good example that I see right now that we don't take at the city council, other city councils, they discuss things. They how are we going to do this? How are we going to get jobs? How are we going to keep young people here when they go off to college and come back? Westfield's a good example. The governor announced, I will give you incentives to cities and towns west of the Connecticut River on construction, on taxes, if you build data centers. Not call centers, data centers. If you look at out west in Oregon and Washington, there's a lot of companies, Google and Microsoft and different, they're looking for these large data centers. And of course, we want them in the Northeast, but you're not going to use the real estate of Boston or Worcester or down in Rhode Island. So the governor said, set them out here. The reason is there's lots more land that you could put them on. There's trained people and data centers, all levels, from people working at entry level to running it. Right now, if we had a data center like they're designing in other parts of the Western Mass, say 400 jobs. 400 jobs would equate to a payroll of around $2 million a month. We get 25,000. They would come here because there's tax incentive, there's land to build them on. We don't have to transport a product down the 90. You have fiber lines coming in to do this. We even have an airport where you could come in and have companies take care of it. I remember 40 years ago when I used to fly into North Adams, we had a King Air, and we used to do a lot of business here. We need to work together. We need to say, yes, we can do this. We don't do that now. Lots of times when I go to bring an idea up, I get smothered.
That's awful.
There's no room for new ideas. I have 6 grandchildren and 2 children. What they need is futures. And how do we do that? What people do is they go on their cell phone and Zillow, oh, the tax rate's there, $17. Well, let's live down in Great Barrington, it's 9. Well, the school systems here are rated 3. Let's move to Williamstown, they're rated 9. Why can't we do this? We can do this. It's the same people, it's the same workforce, and not to harp on McCann, McCann is busting at the seams. We need to do that at Drury. We need to do it at Greylock. The other thing is we need to take care of our assets. Greylock School and McCann School were built within 2 years of each other. One's worth $330 million, and we have 500 students. Greylock is worth $200,000, full of asbestos, old heating systems, and falling apart. That's neglect.
Yep.
That's just plain neglect. We kicked the can down the road. I looked at the budget this year. I had to look in last year's to find the capital projects. They're not there. Last year, the capital project for the facilities for the safety is targeted for 2029. That's ridiculous. By then, it'll be $40 million. Why are we kicking the can down the road? Every year, it gets 15% more expensive because you have inflation, you have costs. Doing that, when you have a $25 million, you're adding $1 million every year. I'm on the public safety. I'm glad I'm on that. I looked at the budget. I saw $76,000. I thought, oh, we're buying a new car. It's parts. They spent $76,000 in wiper blades and parts for the engine.
Oh my God.
Why do we have 16 cars in the department with over 100,000 miles? We need to spend money right. I asked them to buy 2 cars last year. I begged them. They finally did it. We're going into October. Where are the people saying, we need 2 more this year? We need 2 more. And the thing is, we're sitting with the money from the parking. Oh, I don't know, we're making 3% on it. And we know the cost of automobiles are going up $10,000 and $15,000. Why aren't we doing this? So there's, in a $53 million budget, That's $1 million a week that the city of North Adams, where are they spending that money?
Did you want to go to another topic?
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Okay, no, it's up to you.
Okay, I was going to just.
Want to keep on going? I'm letting you guys talk.
Okay.
That's the whole point.
So I think, Peter, that I would add to what you're saying is that the way, it's my opinion, that our budget process and our process of reviewing the budget is not looking at the level that you're talking about and looking at what are we buying and what are the results that we anticipate getting, and really moving it up a level instead of line by line saying, why is this line $2,000 higher? I mean, that might be a legitimate question, but really what we ought to be asking is, what do we need to do to fix our potholes more quickly? You know, what do we need to do to invest in to move the meter on our schools, right? So that we're looking more at outcomes and metrics and results. And what are those things that we're trying to achieve? And how are we putting our money into the places that will get us there? And so I think that's an elaboration on what you said.
I agree with you. And talking about the schools is a good example. If you look at the school budget, it was 1% over the year before. But 2 weeks ago, the mayor said, here's $800,000 from the school salary budget, and we're going to put it onto public safety. What that means is the school was down almost $750,000. The increase is everywhere else, not on the school side. I think the school is doing an excellent job. Why they're dividing it up into 3 groups is great. Put all your resources together. Don't have kindergarten in 4 places in half the town. They've got a plan, and they're working well. And the budget is going down of excess money. What else we need to do, and we have to do it immediately, is we need to spend about $35,000 and put a sign out in front of Brayton School for sale. Because it's going to take anywhere from 24 to 36 months to market the building. And to do that, if we wait until Greylock's there, we're going to be hung with taking care of a building that you can do drugs on the steps and burn the place down. You know, we need to do it immediately. Get rid of these assets that are draining. And that school, the best thing for that school would to be a satellite of Berkshire Community College, because we have a lot of people from southern Vermont, the college is closed up there, they drive to Pittsfield. If they drove to North Adams and our community people that want to go to school, they could go to school 2 or 3 days a week. It's on the bus route, it's a safe area, and they could have jobs. Part-time BCC is free, and it would be an excellent place. And Brayton would be a good place for it. To have that. And it wouldn't compete with MCLA, wouldn't compete with the high school system. But we need to do these things. We have 8 elementary schools in the city of North Adams. We just abandoned them.
It's ridiculous.
We abandoned Johnson, we abandoned Marks, we abandoned Houghton, we abandoned Greylock, now that's 4. And Sullivan 5. We own Notre Dame. That's
What was the one on School
7.
And
So what happens is Johnson's beautiful. Dave Morazi knows how to take care of a building.
Yeah, he does.
With the Haskins schools, it's still an elementary school. It's just privatized. What we have to do is we've got to learn how to take care of assets. Don't let things go to complete no use, because that's what we did with police cars. And right now, we need to be looking at fire trucks. I think the newest one is 27 years old.
So Peter, one of my suggestions would be to think as a council about a few issues that we really want to pay attention to in the next year, to set a goal for ourselves. And we will focus on these 4 things, and to use our committee structure in a different way of saying, this committee will focus on this issue right? And they will do some research, they'll find out what's going on in other communities, they'll find some experts to come in and speak to us, and they will bring that back in the council. And so the council would be working to develop a better understanding of the problem and the potential solutions to bring forward. I think what happens now is things get referred to the administration, which is already stretched to the limit in many ways. And so it's all on their plate to come back and report to the council on parking meters or whatever, right? Whereas if the council could take some ownership and use its resources to formulate something around these issues and not do 10, a few really focused ones, I think the council could be could be pretty.
I don't see the council actually working together.
No.
From what I've seen, it seems like they're working and doing their own thing. Like you were saying before,
right.
When he tried to talk, he was like, shut out. That's not right. That's not how you do things. You're supposed to work as a team.
Right. And I was going to pick up on what you said, because Williamstown Select Board does a workshop.
We
They
don't
a
do
workshop,
workshops.
And they do it at the beginning of the year. It's open to the
Yes.
public. It
Yes.
has to be open to the public.
Right.
But they sit down and they discuss things, and they sort of say, what are our goals?
Yes.
And a lot of boards do this.
Yes, and I
They
think
have a retreat,
Yeah.
they come together, they say, what are our goals for the next year? And then they work towards those goals. And that's not something I've seen a lot of other government boards do, so.
Yes.
I find it very
Take.
stifling in North Adams for discussion. It's alarming that you don't listen, people don't want people to be heard. And a very good example, when I came back from college, I don't know if you remember Paul Songus. He was from Lowell, my roommate was from Lowell, and we talked a lot about textiles because I was going to be working at town. It was his idea to make the Western Gateway Heritage Park because he was from Lowell. And he said, you can do the same thing in North Adams. And I was on a pilot program to make it in North Adams with Steve Green and a few other people. The place was beautiful in the 80s. You could walk by and you could smell baked bread because the Williamsburg had their bakery there. What happened was the city of North Adams took it over, and just going over the Hadley overpass and looking at the sign, it says who owns it because the sign's falling down. That we have very expensive lamps down there that are just falling apart. There's no maintenance on there, and we own it. And what are we waiting for? Are we waiting for it to crumble? We have a dock right on the premise there. We could have passenger trains right there. We already have the building. We're not even looking at that, and we need to do that. When I was a kid, my grandfather would take my brother and I, and we'd get on the train at 8 in the morning, and he would tell my grandmother, we'll be back for dinner. And I would take the train all the way into Boston. I like to go on the T. That was the fun, going on the green T to Kenmore Square, see a 1 o'clock game, come back out and reverse it, and be home for supper.
But
I'd like to do that now.
Yeah, the train would be great, but of course, that's up to state and federal money that's going to make that happen.
Well, here's the
City
thing.
can't make that happen.
No.
That's the problem. The city can say, yes, we want it, we
They've been
support
talking
it,
about
but-
that for a while,
Yeah.
while now, though.
But my question is, you talked about, Heritage State Park sitting there. We've talked about schools that have gone empty. How do you feel about the buildings the city owns? And as counselors, would you support their sale to just get them
I'll give you a
off the
good
books?
example.
Let Aprilynn.
Okay.
She hasn't had a chance to talk to me.
Okay, with the city selling buildings, okay,
Yeah.
we need to bring back the Own Your Own Home program. Years ago, I actually owned
That was
one.
a HUD program, though. Again, it was federal money.
No. Mike New Valley ran it from
Yes.
City Hall,
It was
okay?
HUD money, though. I did, I looked it up. It was all federal
Okay.
money. It was
We
big
trust
in
your
the
research,
70s.
Tammy.
But Mike New Valley did run it. He
Let
did,
me
absolutely.
finish.
Okay.
Okay, I just talked to Mike about this
Okay,
recently,
okay.
okay? And he had stated that the Housing Authority was the nonprofit behind it,
Right.
okay?
Right.
that there is another nonprofit, if we can get them behind it, we can bring it back. Just so you know,
Yeah.
okay? Because I've been doing my research
Yeah,
too.
I know.
What the city would do is take the properties that were, taken for back taxes, and McCann students, I don't know if you remember this, would do the work on the properties. The stuff that was needed was donated. It was backed by a nonprofit. Then they, in turn, they sold them to low-income families, okay, within North Adams. It was 2% down, 3% interest rate. I owned one. I can show you many in the city that are still
Oh, yeah.
just like the one that the Lewiston house just redid was my friend's house on the corner of Bracewell and North Holden. That was a house that was sold through the Own Your Own Home program. She died in that house. And that's how it went back to the housing authority. That's how they received that house back. But that's what I would want to do. Take those properties, redo them, get that program running again, get it backed again, and sell them to low-income families. For Greylock, I don't agree with rebuilding that. I think Brighton should have been taken care of, because to me, Brighton was a better school. And having a school rebuilt for a couple grades is just ridiculous. Never mind for that amount is ridiculous. No one rebuilds a school for that amount for a couple grades. I don't, that whole thing just blows my mind. So I'm against Greylock, just for the record.
Okay. Are you for or against the new school? I do want to go on record. It's
Well,
if it comes up and you had to vote.
I spoke about it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, we didn't take care of our buildings. If it was like McCann, I would say, yeah, great. But I've been through the boiler room over there in 1
Yeah.
foot of water. And I went there
Yeah.
in the 50s. So I remember what the school was, and I see what it is now. And consolidating the resources, they're on the right track. I'd like to talk about go back to Western Gateway.
Okay.
You have a very successful company working in there. You have the Taylor family. They have Freight Yard, they have Trail House, they have Berkshire Catering, they have lumber, they have different things. They made a proposal to the city that, I don't know if it came to the city council or not. It dribs and drabs.
It was the redevelopment is, excuse me, I'm sorry. Because the redevelopment authority has the oversight over heritage.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to give money. A private entity wants to come and take it over. I don't know why we don't do this. It doesn't matter how much, it's falling apart. We could have our historical society go back to where they were. They've been door to door, like living on people's couches. And we could have an area for gathering there. Why we just let it rot, which we are doing, it's just unconscionable. So there's someone that lives in the community that says, I want to spend some money, and we're blocking it.
It wouldn't be the first time. Look what happened to Sullivan.
Well, no, it's no different than, I can mention the airport. I asked the mayor, I said, why do you not accept this RFP that has 5 jobs that pay $93,000 a year plus $500,000 in hangar rent? She told me at a city council meeting, I wanted a better distribution of the RFP. It's been a year and a half. They haven't even issued the RFP, never mind a better distribution. We have that hangar. What is happening there, we get $1,500 a month when we could have got $500,000 with a long-term lease and jobs. We need jobs. 5 jobs over there would be wonderful. The other proposal that I want, when you come into the airport, that land, what I want to do is it's called Pirates Cove. It's a destination. It's a miniature golf. If you go to Myrtle Beach, Old Orchard, They're out of Michigan. They're actually a 2-story building. You don't know it, and it's a very small footprint. But they pay leases to municipalities like there's no tomorrow. Why we're not doing that, I don't know. What the airport was going to do at one time, they were going to rent spaces to park RVs. I never heard any more about it. I mean, it's probably a good idea because we're not making any money there since the building got dragged down the street. And we spent $6 million, our money, federal money. That building has been empty for 6 years. There's absolutely nothing in it.
That's ridiculous.
And so
Beautiful
we
building, too.
just
Yeah, it used to be a doctor's building.
burn money. You know, we need to utilize our assets. We have 351 buildings the city of North Adams owns. I couldn't believe it. Jess gave me the number and gave me the list of where they are.
They even own lots on my street and other streets that are empty and they're wooded, and I'm like, the city's not supposed to own anything. I don't get it. I don't understand. It just, the whole thing is just crazy.
Okay, well,
Go ahead,
I'll jump in with a couple things. I mean,
wanna
I just
change
love
the
this conversation. No, I don't know if I want to.
Okay.
I think this is a great example of the kind of issue. I mean, if we were to prioritize a list, right? Let's say the city council is going to do an examination of how the city does maintenance. Do we have a maintenance program? Do we keep track of the maintenance? Do we do regular inspections? I don't know how the
No,
I
they
got to the
don't.
state that it was because nobody was looking at it, you know. So all of those things and come forward, and then in the budget discussion, let's discuss how we're going to spend the money to get a program like that in place. I think this conversation is like what you would want to have happen in that priority discussion. And then to go to the housing thing, and I think that's another topic about how many properties do we own? I've been wanting to get that survey done. What is the state of it? What would we be able to do with that in terms of housing, right? So even if we needed state funding, if we could put together that baseline and say, here's all the opportunities in North Adams, including office space that could be converted, state, let's have a conversation about the money, because we're going to have to look to them. But there are people, you know, I mean, I didn't know anything about housing. I rolled up my sleeves and started looking at this issue. Everybody on the council is the same way. We can all roll up our sleeves. We can learn how other jurisdictions do maintenance plan programs. What are the standards for maintenance programs? What are other jurisdictions doing? Receivership is a way of taking property that we haven't done that is starting to be explored in South County and is being done successfully in Springfield. So that's another example of, like, in that housing space that we could, you know, have a focused group of counselors who say, okay, we're going to hold the housing banner this year, and we're going to hold the maintenance banner this year, and we're going to hold the airport banner this year, whatever we want those 4 priorities to be. And, you know, we all have a lot of knowledge and a lot of energy around this, and if we can channel that into real proposals that we can take action on, I think that would be real.
Not to harp on McCann, but we do that. And what I say is we stay in our own lane. When we do something as a board, Dave's an architect. He has expertise on that. And, you know, we have Bucky Buddha that is involved in the inside of the thing. And Dan knows about automobiles. And I'm good with the computers and budgets and the curriculum. So when we get together, I'm not designing the roof, Dave is. And the thing is, we have expertise on the city council. We're talking about truck routes. Peter Leskowitz is a truck driver for 20 years. He should be the one saying, I can't turn an 18-wheeler left or right coming down High Street.
Right.
Not me, but we don't use our expertise. And we really, really need to do those things. And so...
Peter, can I just augment what you just said? I think that it's not just the council that we can draw on. We have worldwide experts on lots of things in our community. People who know this, I mean, you know, besides people who are on on the McCann board, who probably would come and say, yes, for the next 3 months, I'd be willing to meet weekly with a group of counselors and be part of this initiative to bring it forward. And I think we need to draw also on the people in the community.
When I first moved back here, Mariel and I, we wanted to have our own house. And you got to think, it was in the late 70s. We ended up with a little tiny house on Perry Street, right next to the synagogue. And it was slate roof, beautiful. It was built in 1863, just before Civil War. We couldn't afford it. It was $24,000. So we said, what are we going to do? We got that house under FHA, Farmers Home Administration. We paid, and I can remember it. We're talking 60 years ago. We paid $164 with no down payment. We have close to 500 houses that would be eligible in the city of North Adams. We don't have to have a federal program. We can have a local program. You know, if people put, and I remember sweat equity, you know, building the chimneys and things like that. To get young people here, they have the energy and they have the desire. A lot of duplex house. You live in one side, you rent the other out, we'll do half the taxes for 3 years. We're giving tip incentives in the West End to knock off millions of dollars. We can give someone a $2,000 write-off. It's not doing any good falling apart.
Well,
and it doesn't have to be low income. It can be anybody.
Years ago, from my understanding, the city used to do loans to homeowners so they could fix up their houses. I don't know if you remember this. It was a long time ago. And the city stopped doing that. But that was a huge help for the homeowners that couldn't afford to fix their house and didn't have the credit to go to a bank to get the loan. The city used to step in and help them. We don't do that no more. You know, now we're faced with a bridge that who knows what's going to happen with, not including Brown Street. Someone said they were fixing Brown Street.
Temporarily.
There's a lot of temporaries
Well,
in this town.
If you look in the budget, our budget has, remember I got 6 grandchildren.
I have 12. What's your excuse?
What we have to think about is that we can do things, but we have to, again, look at the budget. We have $75,000 for foreclosures. My understanding, it's anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 to do one place. So that means out of the $351,000, our court costs, we only can do 25 places. I don't know the math, but that sounds like it's going to take 40 years to get there.
It takes time.
So I would like to do what we did with Tara Jacobs. What a wonderful thing. She went to the state. Get this done.
Yes, we need that.
We don't have get this done. We really, really need to do that. We really need to, you know, start working at these things. The only reason that got done, it was right at the top of Main Street. But get off Main Street and look in the neighborhoods. We need to do that in every street in the city.
And unfortunately, we have to wrap up, but it's been a really great conversation. I would keep
Thank
letting you
you,
guys
Tammy.
go. So I'm gonna let you,
Stay.
I didn't even need to moderate other than like step in here or there. So I'm gonna give you a minute. I'll start, we'll go this way. Virginia, you say, yeah, why should anyone go for you?
Well, I hope people will vote for me because I have demonstrated that I will put my time, energy into working on whatever we're working on to make the city better, whether it's the budget, whether it's housing, whether it's figuring out a maintenance plan. I will be there to do it, and I will not just do it by myself, I will do it with the other councilors, and I will also do it with the community. I think we really need to make the community welcome back to the council. And I think right now, it is not a welcoming place to our community. We lose their input, we lose their support, we lose all that we can gain by having all of those people at our side as we try to make progress. And we need to do forums, we need to stop gaveling them into silence, and we need to make it a place where they want to come because it's vibrant.
Okay.
Yeah. So I hope you'll vote for me because I'll be here for you and with you.
Okay. Aprilynn.
Yes, I think I've demonstrated, I ran for mayor twice. I'm not giving up on this city or the citizens. This time it's, city council, and I want to be there for you. I want to help you. I want to make this city vibrant, bring the businesses to it, help the people that need to be helped. So we need mental health facilities, we need housing, we need jobs. Our infrastructure needs to be fixed. And I want you to give me the opportunity to prove that I will do that for you, that I believe in working as part of a team with the city council, with the citizens. Let me be your voice. I have education in criminal justice and business. I did nursing for over 25 years. I care. Give me a chance to prove it. Thank you.
All right. And Peter.
What I'd like to see is if we had a city council that could all row in the same direction, work on the same projects.
Amen.
And the thing is that what I see, my wife and I, we talk about it. Maybe it's time to sell a house. The prices are way up. We built it for $38,000 and it's worth $500,000. Maybe we should cash out and take that and live a condo somewhere. And we've lived here all our life. We don't want to do that. We'd like to have a place. There's nice places to go to downtown to eat. There's nice places for your grandkids to play. If you go up Fish Pond is a wreck. I go all over the world and all over the state. We have hanging swings, half a hanging swing. Things are broken. We don't take care. Again, it's easy. It's paint and take care of things. We don't do that. The quality of life is not the best here, and we can improve it. And the other part, as you improve the quality of life, you also improve the infrastructure. I'm looking at the reservoir. They're half empty. I'm getting worried that we're going to be having a water supply because we sold land that we used to have our water supply. We really need to knuckle down and start taking care of things. And it's got to be for the citizens, because a town government, their job is to take care of the citizens. What are the needs? Young kids, we need better schools. Adults, we need jobs. And older people, we need a break on things that are getting very expensive. Food is expensive. And heat is expensive. Taxes are expensive. We need to make sure that we take care of people. Right now, we're not.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being here. It was a great conversation. I hope everybody got their point across, what they wanted, right? So thank you for NBCTC for hosting us here in the studio. That was really great. There are going to be 4 episodes in all highlighting 13 candidates who are running for 9 positions on the city council. So please remember to vote on election day, and I'm double checking it, November 4th.
From the bottom up.
It's a joke because all the incumbents are listed first. That's a good one. All right, so thank you again, and we'll see you at the next episode.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
Thanks.